What's up, what's up? I'm RENZ Davis. Welcome to another RENZ Reactions. Dang, that's good. So, on today's episode, I'm doing animal kung fu style versus freestyle fighting. That's a little tongue twister, isn't it? Featuring the one, the only, Michael the Zen-Dragon. Very excited. I've had the chance to talk with him on Chat Combat with my main man, Vincent.
Vincent MMA Live.
MMA
What's
Live.
up, guys? We're here.
But without further ado, let's commence.
And I'm gonna pressure test my animal style kung fu against this guy.
A little bit of a highlight reel before the fight. Always appreciated. Very curious to see how this rolls. Round one. Begin. Okay, he's starting off with a little bit of a praying mantis kind of thing. I don't know if I would do that myself, but hey, to each our own. If he can use it effectively, that is the important thing. That's kind of nice. They're not really feeling out the distance. They're kind of going straight into each other. Very cool. I like it when they have that kind of pressure going with each other. Excuse me. Okay, he goes in for a bit of a clinch, and looks like they both kind of willingly go to the ground. Michael on bottom, looks like he's trying to control a bit of that distance, and he is getting a scramble. He created the distance. Nice little up kick. Good show of respect to each other. They're definitely making sure that they're safe when they're readjusting their equipment. I personally would have rushed the guy with the white pants very immediately, just like, he's adjusting his equipment. Attack, attack, attack! Okay. Looks like now they're having a bit of an issue with their distance. It was only momentary. Between two strikers, it could be a little tricky getting that distance closed, especially if you got two counter strikers. You don't want to be the one throwing the first punch to just get met with the counter punch. Good spin. Was that a cup check? He doesn't look like he recoiled for a cup check, so that's good news. Ooh! Going for the back take. He's got something going. And looks like the guy in white might be able to recover back into guard. It's a little tricky to tell. Oh, yep. Very nice. Separating. What a good sport. And readjusting the gloves yet again, not a problem. It happens to the best of us. Ah, the foreign object. I love it. Michael going topless. Oh my goodness, my virgin eyes. Ooh, looks like the guy in white pants is definitely getting some of that dirty box in. Spinny, spinny. Loving the spins. Puts him down on the ground. I like how Michael is using that kind of shuffle when he's getting back up to the stand-up, but I would recommend anytime you're on the ground and you have someone that's proficient at striking, wait till they're at a distance and they're threatened by you from up kicks perhaps. That way, if you do start getting up, you're not distracted by getting up. and getting struck with that one strike that you don't see. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu represent! Ooh, that little tumble to back control. Shirt strike. There's that dirty box. One spin, two spin. That looked like a spinning sidekick. Good up kick. And they're about to re-engage. Beautiful. Nice tap of gloves. Michael's getting cornered. That's not a good area to be in. I would definitely start circling out to his lead side. Ooh, tumble to the door. Those tie pads definitely serve a purpose when not being used. Definitely make excellent projectiles. Nice spin, gets taken down. Guy in the white pants, he's not doing a bad job, but he's not doing a good job controlling the ground. Like, he's got the frame on his neck, but he's not really utilizing much more control than that, it looks like. And using that tie pad throw, very nice. Loving that kick, man. That is a beautiful kick. Good technique on that. Then there's that takedown. There would be a good... Yeah, he's getting squared up. Wants to control that distance. Very good. Using that down control. That was a good way to get up, making sure that the other person is not going to rush you to try and strike you while you're down. Looks like there's still time on the clock. That was good news. I feel like Michael really needs to use kind of like a matador tactic. Like, I don't know how much bigger the guy in white pants is, but it feels like Michael's getting a little muscled around. He needs to start moving like a matador to avoid the horns of the bull, which means lots of like lateral movement. Move more circular to the sides. Nice kick. Ooh, that has some sting on it. They do a salute, a little bro hug. That's what I love to see. Sportsmanship, but more importantly, they were having a really good time, it looks like. Most excellent. Love those little slow motion replays, man. But man, these guys were really giving the spins, like, you know, run for their money. They really like, I really like to see the spinning and stuff. Ah, Muscusi. But yes, that was a very good round. I don't know if that was considered an exhibition match or if that was just straight up sparring to kind of test Zen-Dragon's style of animal style of kung fu. But either way, it was a very entertaining display of action. They both had areas which I would say could use improvement, but overall, given the context of what they were doing, I thought it was excellent. They definitely both had moments of brilliance, and they were just kind of like just pushing forward. Definitely recommend move like a matador when you're put in those situations where someone's coming right at you. You gotta use that lateral movement. Get off the line, move to your right, move to your left. I always recommend if they're standing orthodox, left foot forward, you want to move to their lead side back area. Yeah, they can possibly spin, but you're not moving into their power right side. And then the opposite goes the same way, if you know what I mean. Awesome possum. Until next time, travel safely. What's up? What's up? How's it going? Let's get some. There we go. Sunwest. Bellissimo. Molto bene.
Hey there.
What's up? Good to see you again, Michael. Very good time. Feels
Good
like
to
it's
see
been
you.
quite some time. We've been trying to get this together for a little bit. There we are. Just gonna adjust.
Sure. And that's the next guest. That's Bob as well. I don't know if you caught that.
There we are. That's a little better. Most excellent. Yeah. I am very excited to see you, my man. We have been trying to get this together for almost, what, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Something like that, yeah.
We finally got the RENZ and the Zen, the showdown for chatting.
For sure.
But yeah, dude, I am very excited to say that I finally got to do some recording with your videos. I did not one, but I did 2 of them. I did the animal kung fu, the animal style versus freestyle. That was a really good one. And then I also did your karate versus kung fu. And I'm not going to lie, because I'm a karate guy, I was a little biased at first, but then I saw you putting on the volume. I was like, oh, man. Whew, that was a rough time for that karate guy. He was having a hard time holding his own. But
yeah, I think, yeah, we can talk more on that if you want to go into it now or later.
Absolutely. I mean, like, before we get to business, let's get into more just like chatting and having some good times because it has been a while. Let's take a look at your dungeon, man. That dragon's dungeon, legit, man. I saw some battle axes, a bob. Tell me there's a guillotine in there, right?
Was that for me?
Oh.
The guillotine comment. I guess I'm a little slow.
Right in the dungeon. I definitely see the bob. I see the battle axes. What other toys do you have down there, my man?
And I see we've got the Red Chucks tuning in as well. He has a great YouTube channel as well.
Man. He is a good guy. He's killer head hits. He's
yeah. So just to show the environment here, this is my basement room. We got some Kung Fu axes. These are pretty heavy, actually. So you're gonna hold them here, where there's not as much reach as if you were holding it like by the end of the handle, but it's way too heavy for that. And yeah, there's a lot of Kung Fu weapons, both for practice on your own as well as for sparring. And yeah, this is actually my small basement room. You can see all of it. This is where my son typically sleeps.
Okay.
And there's also some laundry machines. So some roller skates. So I've managed to create a small training space here, but it's very small. And
it's like the size of the room is what you can do with it, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. There's also like these, which you can apply here, and then you've got a wooden dummy as well, the Zen-Dragon logo.
Oh, very nice. Is that like the Wing Chun dummy?
Yeah, it is. It's from Wing Chun, but it's also used in some other Kung Fu styles just as a means of practice. And it was actually built for me by Damien, who has the channel Monkey Fist on YouTube.
Okay.
Oh, and yeah. And then there's the Bob. This Bob.
Bob, we meet again.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, those things are like the staple for all people that love martial arts. You can't have an appreciation of martial arts without knowing at least one, if not 2 Bobs. And they always seem to have the same just like grimace on their face, like, I'm ready to take the hits. Bring it on. Let's do this.
Absolutely. Yeah, pretty intimidating, menacing look. But yeah.
Absolutely. You know, look at it frightening, man. I get really concerned that they're going to start building those Bobs with little voice boxes. So when you hit them, it's like, is that your best shot? Imagine if they had those little like voice animatronics in them. Like every time you hit them, they said something kind of like cheeky.
That would be pretty cool, actually. I think the future is gonna have something way more crazy than that in store, though.
I'm
It's
looking forward to it, man. Hopefully it's
training.
good crazy and not like, oh man, this is bad crazy. We've had enough bad crazy for 2020, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And also, actually, a fan of Zen-Dragon, who likes my content a lot, he's actually sent me a script, and I haven't been able to find the time to get it done. Maybe someday, but where the whole story centers around this Bob, because he saw it in a video, and it's like for a scary movie or something, I think. But you need to get several actors and a camera person and stuff, so it's not exactly easy to execute. But maybe I'll do it one day. I have the script still.
I'm looking forward to it, man. Definitely 2021 will be the directorial debut of Michael Zen-Dragon. I'm not gonna
Sure.
lie, hard time pronouncing your last name. I don't want to butcher it, so I'm like, Zen-Dragon's a good last name.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's fine.
But yes, in regards to like I said, I've done the reaction videos to your Zen-Dragon Animal Kung Fu versus Freestyle. Out of curiosity,
Mhm.
what style was your opponent doing? Was it Jeet Kune Do or was it like just legitimate? He did a little bit of everything.
Yeah, actually, so that would be the most recent sparring video.
Hmm.
Um, he was doing. I labeled it freestyle because it was a little bit of everything. So it was Jeet Kune Do influenced, and a lot of people will say, well, Jeet Kune Do is all about absorbing whatever's useful and discarding the rest, which would be a bit of everything, but there's also some mechanics taught in the Jeet Kune Do training.
Hmm.
Like, for instance, he's a right-handed guy, but whenever he's leading with the right right fist in front of him, that's more of that Jeet Kune Do influence.
Hmm.
And also a lot of his low kicks. I don't really remember how many he did in that fight, but like the oblique kick, or even like the low side kick, which he likes. That's part of that Bruce Lee influence. But he's also trained karate actually, and kung fu. That's where I know him from, as well as some Muay Thai.
Yeah, he had a very interesting style. Like at first, it did look kind of like it looked a little bit more like a hard karate style at first, but then he was throwing like some kind of fluid motions that were more in line with like, I don't want to say kung fu as a very generic term because it's kind of like karate. Like, oh, I do karate. Oh, what kind?
Yeah, yeah,
The kind that chops. It's like, oh, that's not very descriptive.
yeah, yeah. There's I'm not sure how many styles of karate there are. I think I know of like 4 or 5 or something like that of the big ones.
Yeah, it's
But
weird. It's kind of like it used to be like how to describe it. It feels like people just knew about karate and it was like, oh man, karate's the best. And then people are like, so do you like Shotokan or do you like Kyokushin? It's like, what are those? Those are karate. It's like, what?
yeah,
No.
yeah,
Yeah, Shotokan karate, Kyokushin karate. The other one from Okinawa, Okinawan karate. There we go. That one.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, it's
yeah,
kind of wild. In regards to kung fu, definitely like I think that's a wild thing as well because a lot of people get this impression on kung fu being a very like specific kind of thing. Like some people might imagine like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. A lot of people nowadays might imagine kung fu as kind of that thing people do very generally in the park. But I gotta be honest, every time I see your videos and you do your kung fu, I'm like, man, representing. That is what we gotta do, man. If you had to like
yeah.
try and put a not so much a definition but an impression for people that are watching on kung fu, how would you kind of like give the impression for it?
Yeah, like a description of kung fu.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Kung Fu, that means hard work or a high level of skill in Chinese, but the Western context is martial arts that's rooted in China, in Chinese culture. And so that covers a lot of styles. I believe there's quite a few more than there are of karate styles. And even with karate, you got something like Kyokushin, which is much more a pressuring style at close range compared to something like Shotokan, which is more with evasive footwork and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the same is true for Kung Fu, but I think, so there's many expressions of Kung Fu, but a difference between that and karate is that karate has that philosophy of just going all in with every single attack and trying to like defeat the opponent in a single strike. And typically in Kung Fu, it's a little more fluid, and you may not apply as much power in every strike, but it's more based on quick combinations a lot of the time. Yeah.
Indeed, and you definitely have those quick combinations. It's like a ballet of violence watching you fight sometimes.
Thanks.
Like your combos, like a lot of people when they hear a combo might think jab, cross, hook, or 1, 2, 5, 6. But I see your combos, and there's like a particular volume to your very finesse striking. It's very brilliant.
Thanks. I think I have like 3 fighting styles, which I also mentioned in the chat combat interview. So I have like the animal style stuff, which I really enjoy sharing because it inspires a lot of people who believe it's only possible in movies or who practice it but never get the chance to try it out in like real sparring. But for that, part of the style is it's difficult to show here in my basement.
You have a little volunteer team.
Part of the thing is you got a high guard and a low guard all at once.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're covering the whole body. And then if you're striking high, then if there's a counter attack up high, then you can block it. And you can't really tell on the screen right now, but my other hand is covering the lower part of my body. So that's part of the animal style. And then there's a lot of things which you can't really do in full contact sparring or competition, like using the animal styles to poke the eyes or grab a hold of an ear or something, or the throat. So, but there's still a lot of stuff you can actually pressure test, like the palm strike with the tiger claw. And like with the snake, it's a little more difficult because you're supposed to be targeting the soft spots like the eyes and the throat.
Mm-hmm.
You're not even though you can condition your hands, you're not supposed to do this and just hit full on clashing with bone.
Yeah, soft targets against soft weapons against hard targets can be a little painful sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So like on this top, I can actually practice it like striking here and here and here, but you can't do that on a person if you care about
it. If they deserve it, then it's well warranted.
Yeah. So so I have to hold back a bit when doing animal styles, and that's why like I set up this sparring match, which was somewhere in between a sparring and an actual fight.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to use the animal styles, so we had to make it medium contact and not full contact. It's the video called Animal Style Kung Fu versus Muay Mat / kickboxing, something like that, on my channel, with the tall guy with the red hair.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trained both kickboxing and Muay Thai, but we both decided that elbows weren't going to be allowed. And I wanted knees to be allowed, but only for the body. But his point was that him being very tall and also with the stances and the way you operate using animal styles, there was just too high a risk of him kneeing me in the face. So he wasn't able to use that much of his Muay Thai strikes in terms of elbows or knees, and clinching was allowed, but he didn't really use it. Yeah.
Well, that's good news. I mean, I've been hit with a few knees and elbows myself. They're not exactly the prettiest thing to get hit by.
Nah.
The one throwing it is a different story, though. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was just mentioning the different styles. I use animal styles, but what I most normally do is like kickboxing, but with a touch of kung fu. So a lot of my kicks will be kung fu based, and so a lot of times, unless it's a low kick, I'll actually be aiming to connect with the instep of my foot, and not with the shin.
Mm-hmm.
With low kicks, I try to use the shin. And a lot of kickboxing combinations, a lot of times it's like, I think perhaps the camera's a little bit too close. Let me see if I can place it here. A lot of times, let's move up. All right. Yeah, a lot of times it's like you're gonna strike left to right, which is sort of shifting the weight. And what I do a lot of times, which really sometimes catches people off guard if they're not familiar, is a lot of times I'll have two strikes from the same side. So something like a jab cross and a rear leg roundhouse, something like this. Yeah. So that's part of that kung fu influence, and I try to mix it up with some more classic kickboxing combinations so it doesn't become too predictable. Yeah.
Understandable. Like the way you throw your kickboxing and kung fu together, it's very remnant of like Savate almost. The kung fu kicks are very similar to what you might see in Savate, which is really a wild like a combination. It's very like original. I like that a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I find a lot of inspiration from watching Savate fighters, and yeah, for sure. I love that blend of boxing and all of the kicks from kung fu. Like in Savate, a lot of times they'll also do a hook kick, like not necessarily a spinning hook kick, but just a regular one, which is also something which can be very surprising. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Those hook kicks can be very good, not only just for like headshots, but for like kind of disarming someone's hands. Like they have their hand up just high enough, and you're going for like you can just hook their hand out of the way and then follow with like a combo.
Yeah, I've noticed they do that a lot in Savate. Yeah. A lot of times when I use the hook kick, it's more intended to connect. But I've been noticing how Savate fighters are great at using it also to just draw down the guard and set up something. Yeah.
Very good tactic. Very sneaky. Damn those French bastards. Damn them.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding around. I'm part French myself, so I can kind of get away with that once in a while. Pardon my French.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So definitely a question I would love to ask is you being I do consider you more of a kung fu person. The way that you move very efficiently. It wouldn't be quite the interview without asking a Bruce Lee question. Like the way you kind of train martial arts, would you say that you kind of implement some of the Bruce Lee style where you have to kind of like, kind of whittle down what you find useful and what you don't find useful, or do you feel like there's a particular element of tradition that can be useful as well?
Yeah, for sure. Like the open-mindedness, which Bruce Lee was really one of the pioneers of introducing to both the Eastern world and the Western world. That's definitely something I also try to apply. So I always feel that like traditional martial artists can learn a lot from modern martial artists and vice versa. And with a lot of my content, I cover a lot of different stuff on YouTube, but quite often there's like a theme. Like, for instance, my viral video Kung Fu in UFC, where you see the traditional techniques used successfully in a modern context. And I'm leaving cold.